Welcome back to another episode of Boom or Bust. I'm your host Terry, and today we're going to continue our All-Pro film session series with Luke Kuechly of the Carolina Panthers, middle linebacker, if you didn't know. So, Luke Kuechly, real quick, if you didn't know, during the first team All-Pro from the 2018 season, going through, watch some of the film and just kind of breaking down and confirming all pro status. But anyway, Luke Kuechly for me coming out of college was definitely a top prospect. I think some people gave him a knock on his size. He wasn't as big as he is now, of course, but still you could see the intangibles, the tenacity and, the leadership ability. But I think Boston College, had you had Luke Kuechly come out of a Big Ten school or something like that, I think it would have been no questions. But I think with Boston College, some people were a little more skeptical, and then you throw that on with his size. But impressed in the combines and all that stuff. And the Panthers took the shot and ended up being one of the best linebackers in our game. So you always saw the IQ there. And so I talked before about linebackers just completely changing. And I wouldn't say Luke was the last class, but that was one of the last classes where linebackers played traditionally. And instead of the chase linebackers that you have now, he's more downhill, or at least understands how to get downhill to make negative plays. He doesn't just chase plays. But then he's a plus in coverage and everything else, and overall just a good student of the game. So anyway, we're going to look at some of his film, and he didn't have a ton of turnovers this year. So we're going to look at some turnovers, but mostly we're going to look at some running plays, and hopefully some incomplete passes as well. So let's go ahead and get this started. And it'll be starting from week 16. And then we'll work our way down. And we won't go through all these plays. We'll go through a good amount. All right, so Luke's there in the middle against the Atlanta Falcons. Got a run play. A zone away from him. Ends up making the tackle on Tevin Coleman. So we'll watch the end zone view and slow it down a little bit. So he reacts, sees the flow away and the handoff. And you see how he avoids that double team. So I actually think the double team did a decent job. They had a lot of movement though, and when you got that much movement, it's time for somebody to climb. But the D lineman also does a good job of holding up these two guys. And Luke could have got washed down in that, but he avoids the traffic, gets around the double team, and then comes from behind and makes the play. They still get a decent game, but nice tackle by Luke. So Luke's here in the middle again. Handoff. And that's close to no gain, if not a loss. So we'll look at that from the end zone. Kind of see what he's seeing. So right now you see that zone action. Again, he's got his eyes on the handoff from the quarterback. So they try to bring that fullback around to kind of kick out. And he doesn't really even get a piece of Luke. Luke's coming downhill. Avoids that block. Fits up the running back in space. Takes him down. And that's the speed on display. That's the tenacity on display. Oh, those stadium kind of empty. All right, so Luke's over here in the middle. Got another handoff. And that's a good job by the D-line. You could see that obviously there was nothing going on in between the gaps. Otherwise, the running back would have been gone. We get that zone. Everybody holds their space. TD fills, which really clogs up the whole thing. And then you got Luke and other guys cleaning up. And TD's a good linebacker himself, man. So you got Luke here now against the Saints. Got a handoff. And that's just staying with the play. Kind of bounces. Nothing really happening in his gap. Bounces off. Continues with the play. And sometimes it's those tackles that people don't really care about, but until those are missed, then that's when everybody's paying attention because it turns into a big play. It's a nice tackle. I mean, it was a good job by Mark Ingram to pick up some yards because Luke could have had a tackle for loss right there. And you'll see him get underneath this block. So it's this pull. He comes down to the A gap. Lineman has no shot. And the D-line helps that out too. But kind of a classic read. You see this guard pull away. Usually he's pulling. They're blocking back. So he wants to come fill that first open hole. Got the pull. Sees the open gap. Gets underneath that guard. Makes the play. And again, you got Peppers and those guys outside that make sure that there's no bounce out lane to the perimeter. So everybody working in concert, not really Luke just running around doing everything for everybody. And that's something people got to realize with defense. Everybody has to play their role to make everybody look good. All right, so we got Luke again. Double team here. Scraped over the top. Just being patient. I wouldn't say any particular read there. Just being patient. Waiting for the gap to open and then filling it. Again, you see the athleticism, and that's the big thing. And good wrap-up tackler, but not a hit stick per se. But you see plays like that where he can get into his gap and then recover and then go make a tackle. It's the athleticism that you got that real calling card in on top of his IQ. It's a nice play there. Again, D-line stringing it out. Allowing your linebacker to make those type of plays. And so just really running it down. Kind of sacrificed his lineman. That's funny. But really hounding it down, being sideline to sideline. And so that's the thing. You see some guys make that play that Luke did, but they can't make the other plays Luke did where he's coming in between the A gaps. And so, like I said, you got a guy that knows how to chase down a play, but also knows how to get downhill. Another good example here. Sees the open gap. Doesn't just sit there and wait, because you sit there and wait and try to chase, then that lineman blocks you. So we'll see it lined up again. You get some linebackers that want to sit and chase. Then that guy's blocking you. He's coming downhill. Lineman has no angle on him. And now you make that tackle here as opposed to 5 yards down the field. And again, that's kind of the difference I talked about with more traditional linebackers versus linebackers of today. And here we go again, that sideline ability. Now, was he going to chase Kamara to the edge? No. But not giving up on the play. And as one of the coaches I used to coach with always said, linebacker's job is to make the D-line right. And so if the D-line makes him bounce outside, or if the D-line holds the perimeter and makes him cut back, whatever it is, linebacker needs to make that D-line right. And that's what you see Luke doing, playing off the setup of the rest of his D-line. High motor, always flying around getting to the ball. And that's one thing you'll always notice with these all-pros, as I mentioned with defense especially, they got high motors. All right, so that's a hold there, but he's underneath that block. And he's sitting in the gap waiting. So let's see it up close. Luke's over the center. Makes his step. Now gets underneath, avoids that block, and is there to meet the running back in the hole. Ability to take on blocks is one of the things that most linebackers these days are terrible at. And even though he doesn't defeat it with strength, he's still able to position himself with his angle to get underneath and be in position to make a play. So Luke's over the middle again. Got a little fake play handoff. And you just see that athleticism, which is a big part of linebackers now. That's why linebackers all chase linebackers. Because you got a lot of plays like this, a lot of misdirection, a lot of perimeter stuff. Gets out to his assignment and still chases down the play. Really fast, actually. I half expected to come in here and see Luke kind of lose a step, but I mean, he's not super old, but he's been in the league for a while, but you see he's just as fast as before. So we got a whole play blown up in the backfield that Luke cleans up. Not sure who started it. I think that's KK Short. And then Luke just comes down and cleans it up. And again, making your D-line right. Letting the D-line get off the ball. Make a decision. And then the linebackers making the correct decision off that. Again, you got your edge. You got the edge held down. Forces the running back to hesitate. And you got the cleanup crew. And so Luke is on the All-Pro team. We know Luke has been a big-time linebacker. But I think watching this tape, you really see, and I'm sure he knows how much his D-line helps him out as well. Luke chasing him down. And Luke kind of gave up early on in the play. Kind of gave up early on, but then turns on the Jets again, shows you what he's able to do. Gets faked by perimeter. Comes downfield. Chases down Jarvis Landry. And that's an amazing play for, I mean, again, as far as the outcome of the play, not great. But when you just look at what took place as a player, that's the type of skill you want. And Luke's a great mix, man. He's a great mix of what you see with like Deion Jones, kind of linebackers that came out this year, Devin Bush, and all those guys where they're chase linebackers. That's the new trend. And he can do that. But he also, as I showed earlier, has the ability to come downhill. All right, so empty, quarterback draw. D-line does a good job. And then Luke does a good job defeating the center on this block. Comes after him. Whoop. Feet and hands together. All right, so against the Bucks. Blitz is up. So we got a run blitz that time. Blitz is off the edge. Ends up going right into the play. That's just speed. I mean, he forces the running back to go backwards or to cut back, and he still makes the play. All right, so in the white zone. Guess there was a fumble. And Luke recovered. All right, against the Bucks still. Luke's over the middle. And he knew where that play was going. Well, we'll go from the end zone. You can see he's going to start moving right away before the pitch motion even happens. So he sees something that tips him off. And so he's already gone. And again, getting right in between those blocks. Destroying the angle because he has so much speed. Linemen don't have Lineman can't get that angle on the linebacker that moving that fast. And again, you see the IQ. All right, so against the Bucs again. D-line again, holds up to the play side, makes the running back cut back. Luke's on the cleanup crew. And I love that, again, he's not sitting still with his feet flat, waiting to clean up the backside. When he cleans up, he comes behind the line of scrimmage to clean up and making those plays, no gains or losses, rather than 1 or 2 yards. Again, see him chasing down a play from the backside. Out there in coverage. All right, so we've seen a couple run plays. Actually, let's watch the Seahawks, and then we'll see if we can get some pass plays as well. Real foggy. So we got Luke right here. Tried to do a misdirection. Luke with the solid eyes, able to read his keys and go downhill to make that play. Oh, wow. In the backfield again. No. They skipped it. I couldn't see exactly what happened, but I know he got underneath the guard and was sitting in the gap waiting. Again, nice short play. Seeing the gap, filling it. And that's the difference. I mean, I don't know how much I could stress that. That is the big difference with Luke, is that I wouldn't say he plays behind the line of scrimmage like he's unblockable, like Aaron Donald, but he plays near the line of scrimmage. He doesn't sit there and catch you 3 yards, 5 yards downfield. He comes downhill and he's looking to make a loss. And that's something I miss about linebackers, the traditional style. Because as a defense, you want to be aggressive. You want to get losses. You want to, I mean, some people are intent with minimal gains, but for me, man, I want to be more aggressive than that. All right, so we got Luke right here. Just sticking with the play, going sideline to sideline on the option. Able to chase Russ down. And again, he's the other side defender. He's the other gap. He plays his gap and then also gets out there to the run. All right, so like I said, let's see if we can find some incomplete passes. So we'll back it up to the Falcons. Because another plus that we haven't really seen is Luke Kuechly's pass coverage. Of course, we have run-stopping linebackers, but they don't stay on the field after third down or on third down. And so you got to be a 3-down linebacker to be an all-pro these days, and to be a 3-down linebacker, you got to be a plus in coverage. So out in space. Very good timing, wraps the running back up, forces incomplete. But the thing about Luke that's nice is the hips and athleticism. Again, he can move in that space. Very similar to kind of with the Bears. I was talking about Roquan, who was a rookie. Just being able to be fluid in his movement allows you to get to a number of different spots on the field. And you only need to be there for a second for a quarterback to hesitate. So Luke's here. Looks like he's in some type of spy. Not sure why. Either he was in some type of spy or he pulled off on a blitz. But either way, he was keying the quarterback. Nice timing. Play action, gets back. all over that running back. And you see how smooth that is, and that's nice. Him and TD and Thompson, just great training. Knowing it's not a play action, not sucking up too hard, good timing. That's what you want in a running or in a linebacker, somebody that can easily cover running backs and then also be a good matchup over the middle, because that's where offenses like to attack these days. And that was a inaccurate throw to begin with, but we'll see Luke's play in that. Drop back in the middle again and breaking on the ball. I mean, missed it again. Breaking on the ball, almost like a safety, not quite as fast, but you see he hopped in the middle and then broke on the pass soon as it was released by the quarterback. So it goes on the blitz. So that time, not coverage, more so forcing the incomplete pass. Let's see, well-timed blitz, waited for the guards to pick up the line, and then just straight to the quarterback. Ravens again, Luke on the edge, blitzes again. This time gets, I guess they count as an incomplete pass. And that's just a stunt. That's, again, any type of games is always speed and timing. And he's fast, so there you go. All right, in the white zone. One-on-one with the tight end. And good timing again. He's got the speed to drive on the ball, to break on the ball. So he doesn't have to hug this tight end. He's able to kind of sit over the top and then break when the quarterback makes a throw. So against the Eagles, fourth quarter. Got Luke right there over the middle. Got a play action. Did they really call that incomplete? I'm surprised. It seems like he could have had 3 more sacks than he actually had. But anyway, going to blitz here. Well-timed blitzed. Carson just able to get it off at the end. All right, so that's it for Luke from the Panthers. I would definitely confirm all-pro status. Like I said, it's not too many linebackers that can play near the line of scrimmage, play behind in coverage, and chase sideline to sideline. So really kind of a throwback linebacker, and talked about as one of the best for a reason. And then his IQ on top of that, I think, puts it over the top for me. So anyway, go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about Luke. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.